Welcome to the Liberty Insider. This is a program that brings you news, views, discussion and up-to-date information on religious liberty issues in the United States and around the world. My name is Lincoln Steed, editor of Liberty magazine, and I have a very special guest on this program, Iman Schamshad. Welcome, Iman.
Thank you very much.
This is a particularly a great moment for me because we've had quite a lot of discussions over several years. And just last night, you told me what I didn't really realize, that it was because of Liberty magazine that you felt inclined to come to my office and strike up a relationship.
I am receiving the magazine for a long time, and once I read the address on that, it was in Maryland.
Very close to where you had a mosque at the time.
I was in Maryland for 8 years, which is very close to your office. So I thought that I should come and visit you. And when I called your office, you were not there, you were out of country, but Melissa, she was very kind.
My associate, yes.
Right.
So she gave me the word that this man had come looking for me, and then a little later we connected, and we've had some great discussions.
Yes, yes, of course.
And I need to tell our viewers that you're not in Maryland anymore. You're the imam of the
Chino Mosque, Baitul Hamid, which is in California, 45 miles away from Los Angeles.
And so we've come to a middle ground here in St. Louis. We were on two coasts, and we've come to the middle of the United States. And
that is
we're going to have some discussion.
I enjoyed all hospitality and everything.
Great. Now I need to tell our viewers, and of course I see this program as I introduced it, obviously talking about religious liberty and bringing news and views, but it's also very explanatory, because maybe not everybody, in spite of recent events, knows that much about Islam. So I think this is a good opportunity for you to explain a little. And first thing I should tell people is that you are an imam from the Ahmadiyya
Muslim community in USA.
Now, how would you characterize the difference with the Ahmadiyya community from the larger Muslim world community?
First of all, I will be thankful to God Almighty that He provided this opportunity through you, and I am thankful to you also inviting me today in this program. And your question is very valid and very important, that I will say the question will be, what is Islam? And what is Ahmadiyya Muslim community role in Islam? And
now, as far as the word Islam, doesn't it mean submission?
Yeah, right.
Most
Islam
people don't know
means
that.
peace. Islam is an Arabic word which means peace and submission to the will of God. It means those people who follow the religion of Islam, they are called Muslims. Muslims. Sometimes people do not understand what is Muslim, what is Islam. Islam is the name of religion, and Muslims are those who follow the religion of Islam, like Christianity and Christian. Christian are those who follow the Christianity. So name of religion and name of those who follow that religion. So Muslim is the name of those who follow the religion of Islam, and Islam is the name of the religion.
I do know that in the West particularly, they're not aware that within Islam there are as many variants as there are within the Western Christianity.
Right.
And in fact, I'll make a comparison that you might not agree with, but in our recent presidential elections in the United States, in the pre-selection process, Mitt Romney, a Mormon, was given a very hard time by the larger Christian community because they said Mormons are not Christians. Well, I mean, I think that was rude. But within Christianity, particularly Protestantism, there are some prejudiced views towards Mormons. And I do not agree with their theology, but they have every right to hold it.
Of course.
As under the principles of religious freedom and people following their own conscience dictates.
Of course.
And they do call upon God. They claim that they're worshipping God. Now, don't you think there's a certain analogy with the Ahmadiyya community and
with the rest of the Muslims,
Because there's some, like in your homeland of Pakistan, Ahmadiyyas are vilified as not even Muslims, which is incorrect.
I 100% agree with you. Islam is the religion of peace and tolerance, and it provides freedom to each and everyone. Whatever religion anybody want to adopt, practice, propagate, Islam give total freedom. And it says in the Holy Quran, La ikraha fid din, there should be no compulsion in the matter of faith. In fact, Prophet Islam, all of his life, gave that freedom to each and everyone. And therefore, we, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, follow that rules and principle of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, peace be on him. So as you are saying that in Pakistan, it is very true, 1974, the government of Pakistan, through the National Assembly of Pakistan, then the Prime Minister Zulfikar Bhutto, under the pressure of the mullah, he declared Ahmadi Muslims non-Muslim.
No, I didn't know it was Bhutto.
Yeah, 1974.
This is the Prime Minister who ended up being executed.
No, yeah, that what was Mr.
Yes.
Zulfikar Bhutto, 1974. Yeah. He declared us under the pressure of the mullah and Saudi Arabia and other countries that he should declare us non-Muslim minority. So politically, he took that matter in the Assembly of Pakistan, and for a couple of days discussion, and they invited our big leader, spiritual leader, Mirza Nasir Ahmad, then the third successor of the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, with his delegates. He was there. So after that, they declared us non-Muslim minority for the purpose of the Constitution of Pakistan. So no, religiously they announced that one. For the purpose of the Constitution of Pakistan, they declared us non-Muslim minority. And then in 1984, then the dictator Ziaul Haq also banned so many things that we cannot call ourselves Muslim, we cannot call the place of our worship like mosque as we called, and we cannot greet as Muslim greeting. We cannot impose ourselves directly or indirectly that we are Muslim. And anybody will do like that, he will be put in prison for many years and fine will be put on him. So since then, especially in 1984, Ahmadiyya Muslim community under great pressure and great persecution, and 28th of May 2010, recently 2 years happened, and these people attacked our two biggest mosques in Lahore, Pakistan, on Friday. You know, Friday is sacred
day of prayers.
Yes, that thousands of people were in the mosque, and they come and shoot our people. 86 people were dead on the spot, 126 people were injured, and some of them also passed away after that. So persecution is going on, and I agree with you totally that liberty or the freedom is more important in the matter of faith and religion. No religion allow force another person to accept his or her religion, and Islam says also very clearly that there should be no compulsion in the matter of faith or the religion.
It's a very complicated story, and before the program we were talking about it. In the Middle Ages, particularly with the Roman Catholic Church, when it was allied with the state, you know, Christianity indulged in a lot of persecution. Even today, in some areas, I know the Buddhists are become aggressive. In Myanmar, I'm sure you know the situation there at the moment. The Buddhist majority are persecuting a very small Muslim minority. So it seems like proponents of almost any religion often persecute others. But there is a question that occurs to a lot of people as you discuss this about Pakistan and this horrible situation with the Ahmadiyyas. In spite of what Muhammad may have laid out, and the Quran generally says about no compulsion, what's going on? Why are we seeing so much violence within Muslim communities of late? Is there something that's stimulating this?
I think it is not the religion that teaching them this thing. It is they have gone away from the teaching of Islam and teaching of Quran and the practice of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him. You know, we follow Quran and we follow the Sunnah, or we can say tradition, or the practice of the Prophet Muhammad. Therefore, people should know what was the example of Prophet Muhammad. Did he do things like that his lifetime? If he didn't do, then we don't have license to do that things what is going on right now. Because in Quran, it is stated very clearly that Prophet Muhammad is example for you. So to whom you are following? The religion of Islam and the founder of Islam and the teaching of the Quran. Whatever action today Muslims are doing, it is not all Muslims, I'm sorry, not all Muslims, the radical Muslims or whatever. Yeah.
And then that's something that all people should remember, particularly those of us
Radical
in religious
and
liberty. You can't easily generalize.
Yeah.
Well, even if extremism is one way to put it, but even if something represents a legitimate take on a certain religion, not everybody thinks that way. And that's a problem even within our Adventist community. We have certain clear distinctives, but unfortunately the majority perhaps of our membership are not following through on those.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's a human failing, but I think certain aspects...
But that human failing,
yes.
But they should not take it as a religious. That is the problem which is occurring, that their action does not match with the teaching of the Quran, with the teaching and tradition and the practice of the founder of Islam. Yeah. So they should not say, and they should not label it that this Islamic teaching.
Yeah. I've told you and many other people, when we talk about religious liberty, we need to beware that we don't try to create a common viewpoint, like a change. You know, you have very particular views as a Muslim, I have particular views as Christians. Well, when we have a dialogue, we shouldn't try to reconcile them so that they become one. It's not really possible.
Right.
So there's probably always going to be differences, but I think in discussing things, we can clarify a lot and give knowledge so that we understand better and have mutual respect. I think that is necessary in this model of religious liberty. But talking about clarifying the situation, I think it would be very helpful for our viewers to just introduce and explain what the Ahmadiyya community is. I'm not really sure in the West particularly most people have any understanding, even though you're a very influential group within the West particularly, and very strong in Pakistan. But many people have come up against Ahmadiyya Muslims not realizing who you are. And so I'd like for you to explain this, give us a little bit of history and maybe where you differ theologically from mainstream Islam. And I think this will really be a great service for our viewers. And I know this is going to take a few minutes and our break is coming up. So I'll tell the viewers, come back after a short break and you're going to hear, I believe, a very succinct explanation of what an Ahmadiyya Muslim is and what the Ahmadi community is. Stay with us.
Jesus walked upon this earth during hard economic times. While some had great wealth, many people were living in poverty, some of which only had the clothes on their backs. The psalmist spoke about what would happen to the Messiah's clothing when he was crucified. Psalms 22 and verse 18 says that his garments would be parted among them and that they would cast lots for his vesture. True to form, the life of Jesus fulfilled this prophecy, as it did all other prophecies of the Messiah. And you can find its fulfillment in John chapter 19, verses 23 and 24, which say that the soldiers who crucified Jesus parted his garments and cast lots for his coat. They did this because his coat had no seams, and it was made of one woven piece of cloth. And their actions towards Jesus' clothing fulfilled this prophecy of the Messiah.
Welcome back to the Liberty Insider. Before the break, I was talking with Iman Schamshad. In fact, I'd asked you a leading question to explain the origin and some of the beliefs of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
Thank you very much. This is a very important and valid question, and because our existence in 202 countries of the world right now, and still many people, they don't know what is Ahmadiyya Muslim community is, so I will explain, and I'm thankful to you to asking this question.
But you gave the starting point. What was the year again that it was, or the time frame?
Ahmadiyya Muslim community started 23rd of March 1889 from India, a remote area of India called Qadian, where the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community claimed that he is the promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi. And let me clear a more point here that so that people can understand what I'm talking, because when we say promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi, it is terminology used by the Muslims. You know, in the latter days, there are great prophecy by each religion. Jewish also waiting for someone to come from the heaven. Christian friends also waiting someone will come in the latter days. Muslims also waiting someone to come in the latter days, a great teacher who will revive the faith. Yeah. So Ahmadiyya Muslim community believe that all signs mentioned in the Bible or the Quran or the Prophet Muhammad has come to pass. And there should be a great teacher or whatever name you gave to him, Messiah, Imam Mahdi, whatever, he has come.
So you're an end-time group.
Right.
You know, Seventh-day Adventists out of the Protestant Christian background came about because from Revelation chapter 14 particularly, we believe that it's all about to happen. God's judgment and his reconciliation is in process. So in some ways you're a parallel within Islam.
Yeah, what we say, the person was to come, he has come. No more is coming.
Not he was your founder?
Right, founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. His name is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, peace be on him. He claimed to be a Messiah of the age, a second advent of the Messiah, and the Imam Mahdi. Now, what is the meaning of Imam Mahdi? Imam means leader. Mahdi means guided one from God. So the one who will come, he will be guided by God, then he will guide people. And to us, there is another thing that which Muslim blame and raise objection against the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Oh, look to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community people and look to their founder that they have believed prophet after Prophet Muhammad and there is no prophet after Prophet Muhammad. In other sense, they are going away from their own belief. They believe somebody will come. And the one who will come from God, God will give him the title, not the people.
Well, but isn't the standard mainline Islamic belief that the Mahdi is the 12th Imam?
Oh, it is from the Shia people. Yeah. Not all Muslim believe like that. It is from Shia.
Only the Shias believe in the 12th Imam?
Yeah, it is Shia belief. Sunni, But all Muslims, other Muslims, all they believe Imam Mahdi and the promised Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, or Isa bin Maryam, which is mentioned in the Holy Quran, he will come, he will appear. So the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, peace be on him, he said, I am the Messiah of the age. I am that great teacher whose coming was foretold by Quran, by Bible, by everybody, by Prophet Muhammad. So I am that person. So this is the difference between the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and rest of the Muslims.
Yeah, and you put your finger on it from all that I've picked up, that that's offensive to many Muslims because it seems to put Muhammad as just one among a succession of, and not the last of the prophets, right?
Yes, they consider that Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. We also believe. But we believe that as Prophet Muhammad has mentioned, peace be on him, that someone is coming after me and who will come the revive of the religion of Islam, we say that person has come. So belief is the same. There is a disagreement on the personality. They are waiting someone to come. There is another thing, difference, if your time permit me, I can mention that one.
A few minutes.
Yes, so I can mention that they are waiting for Jesus, son of Mary, to appear from the heaven. Yes. We say nobody is in the heaven. Nobody will come from the heaven. The one who will come, who will be among the follower of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him. And he will be his subordinate, not independent at all. So that is our point of belief, a point of view which we are presenting before.
But you have some inclusion of the biblical Jesus in your understanding, though, don't you?
Yeah, in the Quran, the Jesus, son of Mary, to whom people say Jesus, he is mentioned in the Holy Quran in many places, many chapters, verses of the Holy Quran.
Seen as a messenger from God, not the Son of God, not part of the deity.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've continued that. I got the idea from reading some histories of the Ahmadiyya movement that it was partly as a reaction to a perceived vulnerability, perhaps even from some Muslims, to the Christian expression of Jesus, and they wanted to fill up the gap so that Islam could encompass Jesus without, of course, moving away from an Islamic understanding. You wouldn't put it that way?
No, we have a very simple thing to believe. We believe that all prophets were righteous and they came from God, including Jesus Christ. May God be pleased with him. So this is a very simple belief, and which everybody accepts among the Muslims. And we believe Jesus also, we call him son of Mary, not son of God, because he is mentioned in the Holy Quran, Isa bin Maryam, that he is the son of Mary. So we believe in him as a prophet of God. He was a righteous person, and he led the children of Israel to the right path, means towards one God Almighty.
Now, I saw a very interesting program from the BBC not long ago that picked up some legends, well, legends is the wrong word, some anecdotal remembrances in India that a great teacher that they try to identify with Jesus perhaps ended his life in that part of the world. Do you?
It's a very interesting thing when you said India. What the research by the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is that Jesus, son of Mary, who claimed to be a Messiah, and he was the prophet to the children of Israel 2,000 years back, and he died natural death. He didn't go to the heaven. And
now this is a very standard Islamic view.
No, it is a standard Ahmadiyya Muslim view, not other Muslims.
But I do understand, and it's not clear in the Quran as I've read it, and I've understood that it's ambiguously seen in Islam, but the thought is that Jesus escaped the cross and lived out his life.
Right. What
but
Quran
you're more particular about what happened to him.
Right. What Quran says that he was put on the cross, but he did not die on the cross. When he brought down from the cross and he was handed over to his disciple, he was put in the grave, in the ground, and for 3 days they put on ointment on him, and his injuries were healed. Then he migrated, and what Quran says, that he migrated to the place where hilly area and very green area and very fountain area. So we search we traced his path from that area to the India, Kashmir, Srinagar.
I thought it was Kashmir. I'm glad you brought that up.
Right.
Which partly explains why it's such a disputed territory
between India and Pakistan. Yeah.
There's great significance for many there.
So the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be on him, he wrote a book, Jesus in India. And we have made translation available of this book in many other languages of the world. I think I will send that book also to you, so you can see the trace, how Jesus migrated from one area to other area. And it is also with all the prophets of God, because when they are persecuted by the hand of their own people, they migrated. Prophet Muhammad also migrated from his own people. Well,
it's a very reasonable response. Now, obviously, that scenario of Jesus doesn't, Christians would have trouble with that, but I think it's worth explaining it. People need to know this understanding, and you have to respect your beliefs. I mean, I can't say, that you cannot hold such a view.
Of course.
But we need the information, and it's a good explanation.
And as you say, respect is more important. No, everybody has the way of respect differently, maybe. Now, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community respect the Jesus son of Mary in a manner, because it is mentioned in the Old Testament, the one who is hanged is cursed to God. So if he died on the
Isaiah,
if he died on the cross, to us it is disgrace, dishonor for him. How God will dishonor, disgrace his own person? So therefore we say
the Christian conundrum the Bible says that.
So what we say here,
it's an amazing development.
What we say here, that when he was praying to God, Eli Eli lema sabachthani, or oh my Father, why you have forsaken me? God accepted his prayer. And he brought him down, conscious, he was unconscious, and he was brought down, and he was handed over to his disciple. They gave him the ointment. He ate food and things with his disciple. Then he migrated and told his disciple, don't tell about me to anyone. So therefore we say that he was brought down live, and he didn't die on the cross. If he died on the cross, then animals were right. To die a cursed death, we don't accept for a prophet of God. So that is the respect which give to Jesus, son of Mary.
It's a very significant theological distinction that you've made. No, it's very interesting information, and I'm sure that most of our viewers have never heard that before, never even thought of that, and need to know that it's central to what you believe. We're starting to run out of time, and thank you for sharing, but just very briefly in the few moments left, perhaps you could explain, you know, what is the role of Ahmadiyya community, not just within Islam, but within the world? What do you see?
Our message is the message of Islam and the message of peace, and we are trying to convey this message to each and everyone. Our slogan is love for all, hatred for none. Our present head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, who is the 5th successor of the community, is announcing all over the world that Islam is the religion of peace, Prophet Muhammad is the religion of peace.
I sometimes think of the scene of Moses, 80 years old, 40 years in the wilderness, but come out of Egypt where there were many gods, descended from desert dwellers where Abraham, who went into the desert, had heard a voice saying, I am God. And here in the desert, Moses sees a burning bush and a voice says, I am. What is God? It's a question that really perplexes many people today, until they find particulars in holy writings. The Islamic world refers to Allah, that same God. The Christian world talks about God represented through Jesus. The Jewish economy speaks of Yahweh. But in reality, all are reaching toward the same transcendent being. And while there are clearly truths and errors implicit in some of the particular belief systems, we have to accept that all men need to reach toward God, and in a religious liberty context, encourage them to that end, empower them to that end, and protect people in any country, in any situation, as they open their minds to see the great I am. For Liberty Insider, this is Lincoln Steed.